let's talk a little bit about the man, because, you know, while there is this public persona, there's very little that we actually know about him, because he chose to stay away from the public glare. He chose to lead a very private life. But what we do know is that he had a deep commitment to the things that he was passionate about, whether it was his love for animals or architecture or
empathy.
Yeah, but you know, what was Ratan Tata, the man, really about? I mean, simple, generous, sense of humor. A lot of people have said that, but you knew him in ways that many perhaps didn't.
See, he has a funny bone in him. Okay, he will play pranks. You know, when he was a student in Cornell, what he used to do is he used to call a lot of his friends who had the courage to fly with him in his tripacer. He used to go up, switch off the engine, and say, "Engine is flamed out." And then after about maybe about 20 or 30 seconds, when they start screaming, he will switch on the engine. Okay, so that's what he is.
Was that really his first love?
Flight. Oh, flying was his first love, and always was. You know, even at the age of 80, 85, you show the man who may not be able to stand erect immediately, show him an F-16, he will jump up and say, "You get me my jacket, let me go fly that." That is passion. And then in order, see, in the US at the time, you could only send $180 a day, sorry, a month. So that's what he got from home. And he had to pay for his flying classes. He pushed aircraft, he cleaned them, and then he also sold his cufflinks. That I told I narrated this incident. So he says at times it got insulting, but then he
sold his cufflinks, Ratan Tata.
Yes. What else? Because RBI would not allow you to send money to the United States. So, but he had a car too. So he had a funny bone, and then he'll make fun of you, and you know, he'll mimic Henry. He used to mimic Henry Kissinger. Oh, very well.
He was a good mimic.
Oh my God, you can't imagine. A great mimic, great mimic. He could actually melt any heart, men or women. No, that's it. And then it's so simple. You know, I must have had hundreds of lunch at his place. And you know from where we get the lunch? Taj? No. Across, you know, Halakai, you know, you have a post office, Halakai post office. On the right side, there is a dirty fast food shop, okay? And they give you bad French fries, but good pizza and Coke. That's what we used to have.
Well, I think that really explains what we've heard so often about the man, about his simplicity and his generosity as well. But, you know, let's talk a little bit about the legacy that he thought that he was leaving behind. And I remember in an interview that we did with him, he said, "I would want to be remembered for being someone who did my best and left the group in a much stronger place than I had inherited.
That's 100% correct.
So, you know, and as he looked ahead, what was his aspiration now for the group?
See,
did you talk about that?
He did. In fact, you know, he has this famous annual general meet, you know, of the AGMM, as we call it. In the AGMM, towards the end, he said, by 2022, I want them to, that is the top line, to go to $500 billion, $500 billion. But that kind of, you know, vertiginous growth will take a different kind of leadership. At present, I think it's going well, but under Cyrus, it had slowed down. So, did he leave a very strong organization? He did. And most importantly, I mean, I think one of his greatest achievements, it may be sacrilegious to say that. In my assessment, and I've stated, I've got a subchapter called Connecting Centuries. And I've said, just as Jamshedji brought the Tatas to the country and brought to a population, Ratan brought Tatas to the world and making the group more popular among a larger section of the society when you look at it globally. So therefore, in a manner of speaking, it may be very difficult for the old Tata veterans to accept. I will put Mr. Tata maybe a little above any other Tata. The New York Times said in 2007, Giridhar said in New York Times, made a fantastic statement. You know, when Chorus was acquired, he said the entire nation erupted with joy and a new sense of nationalism prevailed. And the sense of nationalistic goal he actually embedded in that acquisition was absolutely amazing. And you know what the New York Times said after that? India is known for its Maharajas and elephants. Soon India will be known for the Tatas.
Well, it certainly is the perfect and most fitting tribute to the man. I know we could continue this conversation. Unfortunately, we haven't even begun, but we're out of time. But we must continue, and we look forward to doing this with you again. But Mr. Mathew, once again, thank you so much for joining us here to take us through some of the untold stories of Ratan Tata. And there's plenty more. There's plenty more, but appreciate you joining us here.
Like Reagan said, you ain't seen anything yet.
You ain't seen anything yet. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
With that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of CNBC TV 18 Special. We'll see you again shortly. From all of us here, goodbye. Thanks for watching.